This video will show you how to create a Turnitin assignment. From your course homepage, click on Assignments. Click New Assignment. There are 4 tabs available. On the Properties tab, enter in the assignment name, then enter in the assignment directions. Scroll down the page. Next, choose the type of submission. File submission or text entry can be used with Turnitin. Then choose if you want to allow multiple files per submission or 1 file per submission, and if all submissions are kept, only the most recent is kept, or if only 1 submission is allowed. Scroll down the page. Next, choose if you're creating a new category. Enter in the point value of the assignment, and if you want to put this assignment in the gradebook. In this case, I want to put this assignment in the gradebook, so I will click New Grade Item. From the New Grade Item pop-up, give the gradebook item a name and a short name if necessary. Choose the grading category if you've created those, then scroll down the page. Enter in the maximum points for the assignment, and if the point value given can exceed the grade value. Then choose if this will be a bonus assignment, and if you need to exclude this from the final grade calculation. Scroll down the page further and choose the default grade scheme, which is percentage in this case. Make sure that the grade item is visible to the students at least for a period of time, then click Save. You will be taken back to the Properties tab and continue with the assignment information. Scroll back to the top and click on the second tab, Restrictions. On the Restrictions tab, choose Not to Hide from Users, and give the assignment a start date, due date, and end date if you like. When you are done, click on the Turnitin tab. On this tab, you can enable GradeMark, which means you will be providing feedback to students using the Feedback Studio tools. You can sync those grades automatically or manually as drafts to the gradebook. Click to get an Originality Report score for this assignment if desired, and choose if you want students to see their Originality Report scores in the Dropbox folder. If you are using Turnitin as a teaching tool, it might be optimal to allow students to see the Originality Report and spelling and grammar suggestions, and then allow them to make changes and submit a better paper to you. Click Save. Scroll further down the page and click More Options and Turnitin. As you can see, the title of the assignment was carried over, as did the point value. Click Optional Settings. Under Optional Settings, you can choose to store the papers in the repository or not. If you have created a rough draft assignment, and the students will be submitting their final draft in another assignment, it might be best, in this situation, not to store the rough draft in the repository to avoid an artificially high Originality Report score on the final draft, and instead only store the final draft to the repository. You can choose to allow submissions of any file type, such as JPEGs, even though Turnitin cannot check images for plagiarism. In order to generate an Originality Report, Turnitin needs readable text, such as what is in Word documents, Excel files, PowerPoints, etc. Image files do not provide readable text. However, if you are a graphic arts teacher, you may want to use Feedback Studio to give feedback to students and not be concerned with an Originality Report. Allowing late submissions is dictated from the Restrictions tab. You can choose to enable ETS eRater spelling and grammar check. This feature gives students immediate feedback as it is generated at the same time as the Originality Report. That means that students get plagiarism feedback and grammar and spelling feedback within 5 minutes of submitting their assignment. If enabled, students can then make adjustments to their paper based on this initial feedback and turn in a well put together final product. You can choose the grade level from the drop-down menu. English learners, elementary, middle school, high school, and advanced are your options. You can choose to use either the US English Dictionary, the UK English Dictionary, or both, and which categories you would like checked. You can choose to attach a rubric to this assignment. If you have an existing Turnitin rubric, you can choose that from the drop-down menu, or create a new rubric by clicking on Launch Rubric Manager. This is the Rubric Manager. From the drop-down, you can choose to create a new rubric, or you can choose to import one. Turnitin can import rubrics as Excel spreadsheets and RBC files. For this video, let's create a new rubric. Name the rubric, then enter in each criterion and scale. If you need to add a criterion, click the plus sign icon. If you need to add a scale, click the plus sign icon here. You can choose to weigh the criterion equally or not. Don't forget to set your scale. For example, I have decided that this column will be full credit and ranked as 3, and this column will be considered incomplete and ranked as 1. You can also choose to create a points-based rubric, or a rubric that has no point value and is used for feedback only. When you are done, click Save. You can choose the new rubric from the drop-down menu. You can choose the databases in which to compare the submitted paper, the student paper repository, current and archived website content, and periodicals, journals, and publications. You can choose when students can access their originality report. You can have the reports generate immediately but allow no resubmissions. You can choose to generate reports immediately for the first submission and for the next 3 resubmissions, but on the 4th resubmission there will be a 24-hour delay in generating the report. You can also choose to allow resubmissions, but not to generate the report until the due date. If you are using Turnitin as a teaching tool, it is recommended to generate the report immediately and allow students to resubmit their assignment. You can allow students to see their originality report or not. Again, if you are using Turnitin as a teaching tool, it is recommended to allow students to view their report. You can choose to exclude bibliographic material, quoted material, and small sources from the originality report. We will go into more detail on the effects these settings have on the report and how to read the originality report video. If you want to save these settings as defaults for future assignments, you can. When you are done, click Submit. Then click Save and Close. You will be taken back to your assignment submission folder page. This symbol indicates it is a Turnitin assignment.